In every age, kingdoms fall, lives are ruined, and power slips away. Not because men were weak, but because they were foolish without knowing it. Today, we uncover the 6 signs of a stupid man. Learn them, because if you don't, you will be used, you will be defeated, and you will be forgotten. Sign number 1. He can't control his emotions. A stupid man thinks kindness protects him. He believes respect will return respect. He lowers his sword, expecting others to do the same. But the world doesn't work like that. Kindness without calculation is not protection. It is weakness. Watch him apologize for things he never did. Laugh nervously when others cross his line. Say yes when every part of him wants to say no. He calls it compassion. The powerful call it prey. The manipulator flatters him. The taker tests him. The narcissist feeds off him, and still, he gives. Still, he hopes the world will see his worth. But power is never given to the started. It is taken by those who stand firm. The more he bends, the more the world pushes, and the more he tries to be liked, the more invisible he becomes. Sin number 2, he always thinks he's right. The stupid man cannot stay silent. But for the stupid man, trust is automatic. He gives it freely, without testing, without question. He listens to words, instead of watching actions. He forgives too fast. He pledges loyalty to masks he hasn't even seen removed. He tells secrets to strangers. He lends to flatterers. He calls betrayal bad luck, when it was his own blindness that opened the door. Closing thoughts so far. A man who cannot guard his kindness, his tongue, and his trust is a man who is already lost before the battle begins. He confuses kindness with character. He mistakes charm for truth. He sees what he wants to see, because his ego cannot be wrong. He thinks trust is love, or worse morality. But trust is not free. It is earned. It is paid for with time, consistency, and trial. Anything less is not trust. It's blindness wearing a halo. The wise man waits, he watches, he listens. He gives small pieces of trust, and sees how others handle them. But the foolish man leaps. He hands over the keys, before he even knows the gatekeeper. And then he's shocked when the door he opened leads to a trap. Sign number 4. He talks, but never listens. He never asks the right questions. He never looks closely enough. He never considers that the brightest smile may hide the darkest intention. There's a difference between a man who wants respect and a man who only wants to be liked. The first commands power. The second bleeds for attention. And the foolish man, he almost always chooses the second. He bends his values. He silences his instincts. All for a smile, a compliment, a pat on the back. But those who beg for validation are never taken seriously. He walks into a room, and his posture already asks, "Do you like me?" He agrees when he disagrees. He laughs at insults. He praises those he secretly resents. Why? Because he believes that being liked is the same as being safe. But safety does not come from approval. The man who needs validation will always be controlled by the one who gives it. One compliment makes him loyal. One rejection breaks him. One cold glance ruins his balance. His self-worth is not his own. It belongs to others, and so he becomes a puppet. Watch how often he over-explains, how often he apologizes without cause, how often he follows the crowd, even when it betrays his own truth. Sign number 5. He lacks self-awareness. He blends in. He becomes invisible. Just another forgettable man, who never led, who never disagreed, who never left a mark. Respect is born from boundaries, from silence, from restraint, from mystery. But he lays himself bare. Thinking vulnerability alone earns admiration. It doesn't. It only makes him common, replaceable. Those who hold power do not chase admiration. They become the standard, and others admire them naturally. But the foolish man, he waits for praise. Like a child waits for candy. He cannot handle disapproval. He cannot handle distance. He cannot stand being ignored. And so, he gives up his dignity for attention. But a man without emotional control is a man without control at all. He reacts to everything. Not from courage, not from honesty, but from weakness. One insult and he explodes. One setback and he collapses. One betrayal and he drowns in rage. He mistakes emotion for strength. But emotion, uncontrolled, is the very reason he keeps losing. Sign number 6. He rejects brutal truths. Watch him when he's insulted. Instead of staying calm, he shouts. He defends himself, as if pride is all he has left. Watch him when he fails. Instead of silence, he complains. He begs for pity. Not knowing every word confirms. What the strong already see, he is not built to endure. The wise man learns to pause, to think, to wait, to move only when the ground is clear. But the foolish man moves with his moods. If angry, he strikes too early. If afraid, he retreats too soon. If excited, he reveals his hand. Before the game even begins, emotion is meant to be felt, but expressed only with purpose. The foolish man lets his face betray his mind. He cannot hide rage. He cannot disguise envy. And so, he is always predictable, always weak. Closing line. Strength is not in emotion, it is in control. And the man who masters himself can never be mastered by others. He cannot hide disappointment. Every twitch, every word betrays him. His enemies don't guess what he feels, they know, and they use it against him. The foolish man never looks inward, he always looks outward, blaming, pointing, accusing. When he falls, it was others. When he is rejected, it was envy. When he is ignored, it was injustice. Never once does he ask, what weakness in me allowed this? Because self-awareness terrifies him. It is his deepest fear. He thinks the world plots against him. But the truth is simple. The world does not care. He blames the system, his parents, his boss, his friends, even fate, but never himself. The painful truth is this: his own choices built the trap he lives in. His lack of discipline, his impulsive emotions, his refusal to change. And so, he remains trapped. Because a man cannot fix what he refuses to admit is broken. He cannot grow. If he believes he is always the victim, this is the man who suffers, but never learns. Who complains, but never studies his pain. Who cries to the sky, but never sharpens his spirit. The foolish man is allergic to responsibility, because responsibility demands effort. It demands change. It is easier to say, it's not my fault, than to look in the mirror and say, I failed. That sentence is poison to him, because once he accepts it, he must grow. And growth demands courage. He does not have, so he mocks those who rise. He envies the strong. He surrounds himself with flatterers, and calls it loyalty, all the while missing the truth. His greatest enemy lives inside him, not fate, not society, not others, but his own refusal to take responsibility. Machiavelli never pitied such men. He simply watched, as they destroyed themselves, not in one great fall, but in 1,000 small betrayals of their own potential. The refusal to learn, the fear of discomfort, the hunger for praise, the denial of truth. These are not accidents, they are patterns, and they are fatal. If you recognize these signs in yourself, you stand at a crossroads. One path is easy, it asks for nothing but your pride and excuses. The other path is brutal. It asks for honesty, for discipline, for transformation. Few will take it. Most will not. But those who do become dangerous, respected, unstoppable. Closing line. The world does not fear the foolish man, but it always fears the man who dares to master himself.